Hey guys, so this is an update video for Awakening Weapons. However, first of all, I'm sorry. The time that I made the Awakening Weapons videos, I totally forgot to make Fairlia. Sorry about that. We're gonna cover that in a second. Don't worry about that. However, we do have to cover a lot of things for weapon awakenings for sure, because we're gonna cover which weapons are the ones that you have to focus on, the ones most being used, and pretty much separating the chaff from the wheat from which ones are the ones that you actually should be upgrading, for sure. So the first thing that I've noticed with these awakening weapons is when you awaken a weapon, you actually raise in stats. For some reason, when you do awaken, it doesn't show you, but in practice, the stats are higher. So I don't have a weapon that is a 5-star that is 60 and 60, so I can compare. So I'm just going to show you a screenshot of Alia's staff at level 60 unawakened and level 60 with a +3 in awakenings for that weapon, and the stat amount is actually impressive. The amount of stats there, from 300 to 500 and above. So that is it's a really big buff. It may not seem to some people like a lot, but that changes heroes, the amount of stats they're going to receive just from that. So that is a huge upgrade that I was not taking into account with these weapons, and it's a game changer to some heroes, even if it's not the weapon that the hero originally is actually holding. So imagine the whip on Luna, for example. Here, it's gonna give her an amazing amount of stacks here. So that is going to be pretty insane. It is pretty insane. I'm going to show you that a little later, but let me focus first on the weapons that are 4 stars. Let me see here, because I do have a 4-star weapon that I awaken completely, and I'm going to show you the difference between this weapon and a weapon that is an exclusive weapon. Check this out. This is a 5-star level 60 weapon, pretty much maxed, is usual maxed anyway. And I'm going to change it to her own weapon here. Where are you? Here we go. Look at that. It feels, when you switch it, it feels like you're switching to a weapon that is level 65 stars. So if you awaken one of these weapons that are 4 stars, it's functionally is it strong as a weapon that is a 5-star exclusive. So this is very important to note. So if you actually choose a weapon that you're going to level up to level 3 awakening, be mindful of which heroes they're going to hold it, because the stacks, it's pretty much a 5-star exclusive. So that is pretty amazing. I'm going to show you difference, because it's a non-exclusive. Look at the stacks. Look at all those stats you're losing there. So definitely the awakenings for 4 stars, you have to take them into account for sure when you actually awaken them. And I awakened Belle not because I think this is the best weapon of all the bunch. It's because I've been wanting Belle to get an upgrade for ages. And I just decided pretty much out of a whim that I wanted her upgraded. And it does make her incredibly fast, incredibly powerful, but pretty much powerful in the sense that the enemy won't be healing a lot, but it's not gonna do much because he still doesn't do a lot of damage there. So I will need to refine it and put it to level 80 to give her even higher, but she does go off in incredibly amount of time. This makes her faster than very fast, so that's in certain situations it's actually pretty good. But the main thing that I wanted to focus on is these weapons, when you awaken them, the amount of stats that they actually get here is very hard to ignore. Very hard to ignore for sure. So anyhow, let's talk about the 4 stars. So out of all the weapons here, the only weapon that I've seen competitively that people have been using a lot is Sarona's weapon, actually, because I've seen teams that they mix pretty much Elmist with Sharona, or Elmist with Alia, because she's going to actually give more mana in additional to Alia, in additional to Elmist, so on defense, of course. So if you want to actually use Sirona on defense, this is actually an amazing weapon. And out of the 5 weapons that I've seen, this is the weapon that people are using the most in that situation. And you are able to level it to level 80 and possibly turn Sirona into a 5-star hero, pretty much, straight out the bat. And these abilities are pretty powerful for the awakenings. That's going to give mana to everybody there. And usually the purples. Very, very good. So, chaff from the wheat. Let's first talk about Phalia, because we didn't really talk about her the last time. Phalia, Red Street. So, Phalia, when she was released, she was not a very good hero. She didn't do a lot of damage. Then she got a buff of actually doing 417 damage to all enemies for 5 turns, inflicting 100 friends overload on the caster. So 417 to every single enemy, this is pretty high. However, it doesn't stop there. When casting a skill, if there is more than one enemy, deal 69% extra damage to all enemies for each additional enemy. So yeah, that is a lot of damage right there. And I've heard people that they see Phalia on defense, they are scared when she goes off. Alright, so let's talk about her exclusive weapon here. And her weapon is pretty much inflicts 50% overload, except for Phalia, at the beginning of each wave, and increases critical chance by 35% for 5 turns. Pretty much that means that this weapon has to be held by Phalia, because you don't want to have overload on a weapon that in 5 turns you're going to lose the crit for sure. However, the awakening abilities for her are pretty powerful. Awaken +1, Phalia's skill has been enhanced, the skill. When she uses her skill, increases her critical chance by 10% and increases crit damage by 15% for every present enemy last 5 turns. So this pretty much means that if you're fighting a team of 5 enemies, she's going to have 50% crit and crit damage by 75%. And you sum up the 35% crit chance with the first 5 turns, that's going to be 85%. So at average speed, she's going to go off. If you put her next to Chloe and you buff her with her crit and her crit damage, she's going to do insane amount of damage. And do remember that Chloe does eliminate all the shields, so yeah, that's going to be a pretty devastating. The only problem is that if you go in and attack an enemy that only has like 2 or 3 enemies, or maybe even 1 enemy, that you are going to do that in war sometimes, this may not be the best ability for that. You may need to replace it for another hero there. Awakening +2, Phalia's skill has been enhanced. When she uses her skill, decreases her overload effect by 50%. So I do have a question for this. I do need to actually see this in action, because if this goes off, will it be like eliminating her overload by 50%, as in it erases the entire overload that she has, because her +5 awakening will eliminate her overload by 50%. So I think that this does eliminate all of her overload by 100% pretty much if you have her +5. So if you have a +5, this ability is 100% worth it, because she goes off, and then she's in a green team, she's gonna get her mana back pretty quickly, and then she's gonna go off again with all this crit thing that she's going on. So this is pretty powerful, guys. Very, very good. And then Awaken +3, Phalia's skill has been enhanced. Inflicts overload by 30 to enemies when dealing damage. So this is straight off the bat. This is more or less +5. Straight off the bat. If you play with Morella +5, you'll know that the overload is pretty annoying when actually that happens. And actually stopped some enemies sometimes with this. So for sure, it could be very interesting. Kind of steep, because you actually have to waste 2 weapons to actually get this, but it is a +5 ability on a hero. So if I had the chance to actually get this, I would definitely get it, because this actually gives you tactics. Imagine doing this, shooting, and Dialia now is 30 in mana behind to actually actually do the things that you're supposed to, and then the next turn you come in and you shoot again and you kill Alia, and that's what you want. When you're playing green right now, you want to kill two heroes. You want to kill Luna as soon as possible and Alia as soon as possible, and green does that. So in this case, this ability can be a game changer in that situation. But for now, I haven't found a brave soul that actually has awakened this weapon, sadly. So until I actually see somebody awakening this weapon, I can actually see my prediction of this for sure. But I think it's very powerful abilities here for her. So let's talk about the other heroes here. Thao, I actually do have his weapon at +3 with the awakenings, and I put him on defense, and sadly, every single time I put him on defense, somebody attacked with blue teams and pretty much murders him straight off the bat. So, and on defense, I haven't had much success with him in that situation. But on the attack, these abilities are pretty powerful. For now, I haven't really regretted actually getting this weapon at +3. And for PvE, this weapon is actually broken. I've actually gone really high scores with the speed run with this weapon and Thao there. Very, very powerful stuff, because remember that these stats 150 attack and defense, the attack 150%, that's going to raise the damage for the stones. And if you have Alden nets, that's going to be pretty devastating for sure. But outside of that, I don't really recommend you to go all out with this weapon for the sake of Thao. I may need to upgrade my Thao even more, but for now, I can't recommend this weapon to actually be awakened very high. If you want to put him on defense. If you want to put him on the attack, you can +1 this and maybe even the second one. And I think that could be enough if you're playing PvE for sure. So the next hero we're going to talk about is Lupita. Lupita over here, I actually in the last video already showed her in action on the attack, and I still think she's a monster on the attack, a absolute beast on the attack. This is pretty disgusting stuff. However, I've seen her on defense, and she doesn't really perform very well on defense. If you want to put her on defense, you have to make sure that your team has a very good protection and it attracts purple teams. If it doesn't do that, this weapon will do a nice amount of damage, but not enough to be relevant on defense at least. But if you're looking for a weapon and to make Lupita actually relevant again on the attack, this is an amazing weapon to do that. I highly recommend it. And I've just go watch the video for the 5-star awakenings there. It's pretty crazy stuff for sure. And Malfort, Malfort. I used to ignore Malfort, and now I can't ignore him. His weapon is just too disgusting, for sure. And by the way, if you use the Alden Volos team, do not, I repeat, do not use Alden Volos versus a Malfort that has an awakened weapon. Do not do this. If you do, you will lose. It's pretty disgusting, because pretty much on war I decided to use my Alden Volos team, and there was a Malfort, and I forgot to check if the weapon was there or not, and pretty much I lost the fight just because of that. So I actually have footage about that. I'm going to show you now.
fire of Nia.
I'll protect you.
By the fire of Nia.
Have a taste of the mystical golden rod!
Have a stocking stuffer!
By the fire of Nia.
Follow the kind light of justice. Death follows.
Destroy.
No quarter for traitors!
The power of thunder!
By the fire of Nia. By the fire of Nia.
Follow the kind light of justice. Death follows.
No quarter for traitors!
The power of thunder!
By the fire of Nia.
Have a stocking stuffer!
By the fire of Nia.
I'll protect you.
By the fire of Nia. Destroy.
Follow the kind light of justice. Death follows.
The power of thunder!
No quarter for traitors!
By the fire of Nia. By the fire of Nia. By the fire of Nia.
I'll protect you. I'll protect you.
Have a stocking stuffer!
Destroy.
Follow the kind light of justice. Death follows.
The power of thunder!
No quarter for traitors!
Follow the kind light of justice.
No quarter for traitors!
The power of thunder!
No quarter for traitors!
Have a stocking stuffer!
By the fire of Nia. By the fire of Nia. By the fire of Nia.
Follow the kind light of justice. Death follows.
The power of thunder!
By the fire of Nia.
Follow the kind light of justice. Death follows.
So yeah, if you understood the video for sure, do not use Alden for sure, That's pretty disgusting, and a lot of people have been actually complaining that Malphur's weapon just creates infinite amount of shields, and they are right. It does create an infinite amount of shields. However, if you already have your heroes like with a lot of mana, or pretty much full, you can do focus on Malphur, kill him as soon as possible. And that's one way you can actually do that, or focus on only one enemy. And if not, and if you're for some reason you're just fighting Malphur with another enemy in war, try to turtle with the stones at the bottom, and that will make his shields go down, and then you can actually try to kill him as soon as possible there. But if I recommend upgrading this weapon, oh yeah, this weapon is pretty amazing. The taunt is amazing, shield creation is amazing. This is a very good weapon. It finally turns Malphur into a useful hero that is not just to hold whip. So yeah, this is one of the top 2 weapons that you should actually focus on awakening for sure. Very good weapon. And now let's talk about Antia Untied. So Antia has been I can't believe I'm saying this. Antia has been the most annoying hero to deal with on defense because of her +3 awaken weapon. Malphur I can deal with. Antia is a Antia has become a pest with her weapon for sure. I can fight with any team that actually has an Antia that has a normal, or a non-Antia Luna team. I can definitely deal with that. But when she is with the +3 awakening, and everybody's gonna get mana. Everybody's gonna get mana, and everybody's gonna get mana over and over and over again. And if you have her +3 and you're trying to use Elmist to actually kill the entire team and not make them heal, that's not gonna work, because she's gonna dispel them and she's gonna heal everybody all over again. So it's pretty disgusting, and this is the weapon that I recommend the most people to upgrade, because this changes the hero so much and makes her so difficult to kill on defense, with the right team, by the way. You have to choose the right team. Luna teams are amazing with her. Team with Mildred, Lorenzo, and her, amazing with her. Pretty crazy stuff, for sure. But yeah. The difference between the defense teams on War that I can easily eliminate and the ones that I can't usually have an Antia on them, and very powerful, very disgusting stuff. So I highly, if you're thinking about which weapon to actually save and actually upgrade, this is the best one of the first patch that they brought off for sure. Trust me, you will not regret awakening this weapon for sure. And last but not least is Karma. Karma's weapon is actually very powerful, but the problem is that there's another hero in green that's already destroying shields and doing incredible amounts of damage already. So she has to compete with Chloe, and Chloe is a pretty disgusting hero. Eliminating shields everywhere, doing damage to everyone, not just the one that she's actually targeting here. But if you already have this weapon at +3, you can combine it with Chloe, but Chloe is already doing a lot of work. A lot of work, for sure. The other thing about this weapon is, if you have it +3, and you're not going to use it on Karma, that's fine. Because actually these stats are going to actually make... that's going to make Thor an incredible powerhouse in F4. Because it's going to give all these stats. It's going to give the crit for 40% and 15% attack. So if you already upgrade this weapon, don't worry. You can use it on Thor on F4 without any problems. And pretty scary there for sure. Very, very nice, guys. But if you don't have Chloe, you could think about awakening her weapon instead of getting Chloe +5. That could be an option for sure. But if you have Chloe and you plan to get her to +5, or already have her +5, I can't really recommend you to awaken this weapon to use Karma, because Chloe already is doing her job pretty much there. But as I said, F4 Thor with this weapon is pretty insane, pretty bonkers. That's the other option there. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the update for Weapon Awakenings. For any more questions or any other concerns you may have, please leave a comment of this video and I'll gladly investigate, answer any questions you have. Alright, thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.